shot. I actually think they have a shot, the Mariners.
Yeah, I would say so, too.
Yeah.
I would say them, San Francisco. I don't know if San Diego is going to buck up or the Dodgers. I mean, I don't know. You're right about the Yankees. I just can't see them going after him and laying out that kind of coin. I just can't see it. I mean,
well, not with Stanton still on the roster. There's just no way. And you can't get rid of him. And the Yankees have been known to not eat a lot of money. They'll eat a little bit of money, like they did with Aaron Hicks, but they're not going to DFA a guy like Robinson Cano like Steve Cohen did. It's just not going to happen. And as far as the Mets and their payroll and the luxury tax that they have, they still have these pitchers for another full year next year.
Unless they drop their no trade clauses and go to somewhere else and win. You never know. I mean, things happen, pretty quickly, and they can happen pretty quickly. And they're going to also have to give Pete Alonso a new contract.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, and also the fact that anybody thinks that Shohei Ohtani is going to be attracted to coming to the East Coast and playing to the Mets. I mean, give me any sort of indication that is the case. He wanted to go to the West Coast the entire time. That's all we heard about when he was coming over from Japan. It was all about the West Coast. The East Coast wasn't even a factor. Didn't even think about the New York Yankees as a potential destination. Obviously didn't think about the Mets. And then some of the things I hear like, oh, well, Steve Cohen, he's going to give him more money than everybody else. Is he? I mean, he's already paying more than anybody in getting his crap team, and then said publicly that his business model right now is not sustainable. And you're going to tell me now he's going to hand out the richest contract in the history of the sport? And if I hear one more time that Kodai Senga is a reason why Shohei Ohtani is going to come here, if it mattered to Shohei Ohtani that he had Japanese teammates, he would have stayed in Japan. What does that matter that he's got one Japanese teammate over here in Kodai Senga?
Well, and they didn't even really talk. I mean, that's the amazing thing about all of that.
Everybody assumes that, just because Kodai Senga's Japanese, that all of a sudden Shohei Ohtani's going to be like, oh, wow, I got to go to that team. He's doing just fine out there with his teammates with the Angels.
I will say that, I don't know, maybe it's just me, maybe it's just a feeling that I have, but I feel like, all the good teams out there, even a team like the Reds, for instance, I feel like attendance is up watching games. I feel like more and more people are going to these games. I don't know if the pitch clock has something to do with that, and it's a little bit more manageable going to these games. But I just feel like it just seems that there's more interest in the game than ever before, at least in the last 10 years. I feel like the last 10 years the game was a little bit flat.
Yeah.
But with the young stars that are in the league right now, and seeing those young stars and how much fun they are to watch, including Shohei Ohtani, a team like Seattle could make a huge run. I mean, because that stadium, the last two games or the last two nights, was absolutely packed to the brim for the home run derby, for last night's game. There was a genuine excitement around it. And then the way it started, of course, with the great catches and everything else. I mean, maybe baseball is back in some respect. I don't know. I feel like it is. I don't know if that's just me. Do you feel the same way or not?
No, okay. I do not.
I didn't think so.
No, I do not. I mean, if you look at the World Series ratings, they are still dipping. It's now become a regional sport. It really isn't a national sport. And yeah, attendance is up a little bit, but I think the reason why attendance is up is the fact that one smart thing that they did is they've kept more markets in the playoff chase with the extra wild card than they ever had.
Right.
And when you get a team like the Cincinnati Reds, you get a team like the Baltimore Orioles, these teams that have been dead for a very long time, and then all of a sudden are awakened, then those markets then get involved again.
But they're also awakened with great young players, or, players that should be there for 10 to 12 years. It's kind of like our Pete Alonso, maybe our Francisco Alvarez.
Yeah, sure. And that's great. And that's why fan bases get involved. They fall in love with their homegrown guys. It's exciting. Yeah, there's a lot of really good young players in baseball. But as far as the everyday American sports fan, baseball has continued to fall. But it doesn't mean that it's dead. Baseball's not dead by any stretch of the imagination, but it's not the national game. It's never going to be the national game that it was. Never.
Maybe I just watch a little bit more than you, because I know that you have mentally detached yourself from the Mets.
Yeah.
And I'm a little bit more interested in, I don't know. I'm a regional guy. Don't get me wrong. I mean, listen, I work on this radio station, so we have to pay attention to what's going on with the teams around here. I do watch. I'm sorry, I do, I feel like I'm giving you a confession here. I do watch games,
Of course.
and I feel like the stadiums are being they're full. Now I'm not talking about the A's, and there may be a couple of other teams that. But like the Angels still sell out. The Rangers are selling out. The Rangers had 4 All-Stars last night.
Well, they're a very good team in first place.
I'm thinking about the Guardians and the Reds. Those teams are, probably on a pace to, eclipse 2.5, 3 million people, maybe, possibly.
Yeah, okay. So if attendance is up a little bit, you still see some of these issues that these regional sports networks have about the viewership numbers and how they're trying to stand alone on the fact that, they're not going to be a part of cable packages. And you see the amount of people that are watching these games, and it's a minuscule number. I mean, it really is. Now, the teams that you mentioned, like Seattle had the All-Star game. The Rangers are in first place. The Reds are a team that have been dead forever. There's also really a whole bunch of teams that are completely out of the mix and have horrible attendance numbers. And the Mets and the Yankees are always going to have good attendance numbers going into years with the expectations that they both had. So we see that, and people are still showing up to these Mets games because they bought tickets back in February, and they can't get rid of them on the secondary market because the team sucks. And they say, let's have a good time at Citi Field. It's a beautiful place. The food's great. Let's have a night out, and hopefully that they win. So I don't know if it's you're getting the full picture on it, but I mean, if attendance is up a little bit, that's good for the game. But baseball's not going to grow to the point where it's going to be talked about. Like the NBA gets talked about more than Major League Baseball these days. The NBA Finals numbers are bigger than the World Series, and football squashes it without any effort.
Yeah, I know that, but the NBA is also, let's face it, it's drama filled. The guys are proactive on social media. There's so many things that are going on in the NBA.
Yeah.
I mean, get to a point now where, even Kyrie Irving's becoming a CEO of a Chinese sneaker company.
Yeah.
China. Drag him before a Senate subcommittee.
Oh, my goodness.
China.
Yeah, that guy really doesn't like being here, does he? Kyrie Irving. There's a lot of problems with America, Kyrie Irving.
With Kyrie. Yes.
Yeah. Maybe he'll just go over there and play once the Dallas Mavericks end up, stop paying him in a couple of years. Maybe that's where he'll go. Maybe the next Stephon Marbury.
That's right. He saw what Stephon Marbury did with his sneaker line. I wonder if these sneakers will be, like $280 or whether they'll be the,
well, those Starberries that Stephon Marbury made.
They were like $35.
They were affordable. So I don't know. I don't know what Kyrie is thinking, but. Yeah, we've had this discussion a lot about where baseball is at. I mean, for me, it's always going to be a big deal in New York, but when you go other places, unless the team is good, it's not a big deal. Like we could sit here and talk about the Mets and people freak out about them when they're 6 games under 500. When some of these other markets are 6 games under 500, their team is totally irrelevant. It's just the way that it is. I mean, it's regional, like in the way that hockey is regional.
Well, I know. We'll see. Well, we will also see here as we get closer now to training camps opening and football beginning in September.
Yeah.
What kind of effect that will have on our local teams here, because there are high hopes for both the Giants and the Jets, depending on where the Mets and the Yankees are residing in the standings. That late in the season, I think will tell us a lot about just the popularity and where people are turning their attention to.
Well, the only reason why baseball is getting all this attention now is because nothing else is happening. This happens every single summer. The All-Star game happens during this week. Nothing else is going on in sports. It's pre-training camps for football. NBA free agency had already started, and you're a couple of weeks in, so nothing's going on with that. Hockey's, the draft is over. All of that's over in their off season. There's just nothing else going on. It's basically, you don't have a major in golf this week. There's nothing else going on, so that we all focus on baseball, and then people have these conversations about, oh, look at baseball's back in the spotlight.
I don't know.
It's in the spotlight because there's nothing else happening.
I just brought it up just simply because I thought that the All-Star game and the home run hitting contest, all that stuff on TV came off great, with the exception of one thing regarding the home run derby, is that you didn't see the ball flying out of the park.
I know.
Because of the clock.
I know. Very silly with the split screen, and guys are just swinging because they're trying to get as many out in the time frame. It's not as enjoyable as it used to be. But we were with someone yesterday who was very, very familiar with TV. I don't know if you had left at this point or not, but the guy said, he goes, we're going to get the lowest rated All-Star game in history. That's what everybody's been saying. That's what his take. And we started talking about that. So
right.
if a TV executive is saying that, and that's what he's hearing, it's the lowest rated All-Star game in history, or that's what they are expecting. I don't know what to say. And I do think that Rob Manfred is a commissioner that the entire game hates right now. I really do believe that. I think the pitch clock was a good thing, but I think a lot of other fans don't like the other things he's doing. They don't like the fact that he's handled Oakland the way that he has handled it,
but
even
how
though
is
it's
he
not
supposed to
his.
handle Oakland?
Well, because he went in after the fans. That was the problem. He did that publicly, and it looked bad. And I also think that the owner...
There's no local political support to build the stadium.
But the owner is also is someone that could be doing more to keep them there, and he's not.
I mean, nobody's bitching and complaining about the Raiders being there, and nobody's bitching and complaining.
Well, they did. Leading up to that. Yeah, it was a big deal.
I understand, but it's all gone now.
Yeah.
So the A's are going through that part of the process, and the relocating process has already started. And they're going. They're gone. And I understand that they can't make money. They don't think they can make money. They don't spend money. They have a bare bones budget. You know that. I know that. Everybody else knows that. They have an antiquated stadium that they've been playing in for years and years and years and years and years.
Yeah, I mean, if the sport were so healthy, stuff like this wouldn't happen.
Well,
right?
I mean, it happens like it happened.
Doesn't happen in the NFL.
Well, it did because Cleveland left to become the Ravens.
Yeah, but that was a long time ago now. That was a long time ago, and they replaced that team in Cleveland. We're talking about, it was the late 90s.
Yeah, I know. I was around.
And then, the Vegas ended up getting the Raiders.
Well, how many teams in baseball have actually relocated? Why don't you ask yourself that?
Well, the Expos. The Expos did.
That was when was that? 2000s?
Yeah. They talked about contraction in baseball. They didn't actually do it.
Well,
they're talking about the Rays moving now, too, to Nashville.
Right, which would make a hell of a lot of sense. You got the Rays and the Marlins, who basically do not draw, even though the Rays are a good team.
Right.
Those are teams that are in trouble. But the NBA is talking now about expanding to Seattle and Las Vegas.
There's no way Las Vegas could support 4 pro teams. I just don't think
they're going.
One of those teams is going to be. It's probably going to be the baseball team.
The whole summer league is in Vegas, where it's 115 degrees.
Yeah,
you
but
would think you would take the summer
2
league.
weeks though.
Yeah, but you would think you would take the summer league somewhere where it's nice to be in the summer.
Yeah,
not for the guys in 115 degree heat.
Well, they're playing inside. Not playing outside in the streets. Not playing on the strip.
But they're laying the groundwork. That's called laying the groundwork.
Yeah.
Have you ever had to lay groundwork?
Lay groundwork? No,
I think you don't realize you've been laying groundwork for the last 25 years. You just don't realize it.
Oh, okay. You're talking about I suppose so.
Yeah, you have been.
You lay some groundwork in your career. Everything
that's what the NBA
you
is doing right now is laying groundwork. You just don't recognize it.
Well, they've been in the summer league in Vegas for a very, very long time.
Well, this is part of the laying of the groundwork.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'm just saying that to have 4 pro sports teams in Las Vegas, one of them has to fail. One of them, it's got to be the baseball, the Las Vegas A's or whatever they're going to call them. That team is going to, there can't be any interest in that out there. There can't be, especially if you're telling me that the Knights, which everybody loves out there, they love the Golden Knights.
Because they're winning. That's the other thing, too.
You got to win. The first pro team that they had, too. That's the other thing. So people really love that. And then you got the Raiders. It's a huge brand. And then a Vegas basketball team in there.
I'm telling you, it's groundwork right now.
Groundwork.
That's what's happening.
And guess what's out in Vegas this coming or next year?
The Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl.
And guess who's coming?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Damn right.
Damn straight we are.
And we're going to be there for the entire week. We might be even at the game, for crying out loud. It's going to be pretty good.
I would think so.
All right.
You all right with that, Al?
Oh, yes, I would like that.
Yeah, you like that. Okay, good. Just make sure that you're okay with that.
No, it sounds like a good plan.
The star that you are.
Yes, thank you.
Now, there's just enough tickets for us here because, Al's Gina likes to go to these things. So she's
So I'll come buy her a ticket.
Sounds pricey.
So she's going to be on the outside looking in this spot, right?
Look, he's not going to want to go to the game. She's going to want to go to the game so she can use the ticket.
Yeah. Would you turn up in that spot, Al? Super Bowl? Would you have a couple of extra drinks?
Yes, I would.
Okay, good.
Even though you are working the next morning.
Yeah, I think I'm going to try to enjoy life a little more. Live.
Damn it, live.
Well, you drink early too, whatever you got to do inside the parties, and then you chill as the game goes on, halftime show, you come in for a landing, and then you're fine.
Yeah.
And then 2 a.m., you're back on the air on Monday morning.
And hopefully you're still drunk.
From God knows where we'll be doing this show from.
Well, same place.
Oh, on Monday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Same place.
All right, very good.
Thanks so much for watching the video.
Please like and subscribe.
And don't forget to hit the bell so you're notified when we're dropping new content.